Hello, I'm Peter Marzano, and I'll be giving you post-game coverage of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, unfortunately, this is the first losing edition I'm going to have to present, but I think that the first thing I want to point out, going chronologically, is that both teams in the first period had surges where they were shooting a lot. I think Philly was a team that came out flying, and then Chicago got back, and then they had a couple really good shifts. But I think that they didn't play that physical brand of game that I thought they were going to come in with, especially Philly. They played a really quick game, short shifts. That's sort of the game that was there in the first period. So both teams were moving really fast down the ice. They were marching down, and Philly got on the power play, and a quick rebound, that's all they needed to tally one up to make it 1-0. And that's the way it was. And the Flyers were really surging after that goal. I think that the Flyers had like 2 or 3 really good shifts after the Philly goal, and they had a lot of good chances to be up 2-0, and Antiniemi prevailed there. So early in the second, this is a nice goal by Chicago defenseman. Duncan Keith just came up, fired a quick shot, and that tied it up. And that's more of what I would like to see from Chicago, especially in Game 4. This is a big, just a nice, quick, clean shot that he fired up, and it fooled Michael Leighton, so it's 1-1. And the old phrase, when you get pucks on the net, the good things happen. That's what happened. But like I said in the Game 2 post-game, and I'm going to say it again, the officiating was definitely not very good. A lot of missed calls, and one I would really like to point out, and it actually ended up being a penalty on Chicago. Chris Pronger was really on top of Dustin Byfuglien, cross-checking and then hooking as well. And then Dustin Byfuglien got a slashing call out of that. I don't know how that was called, but a lot of missed calls in this game. They could have made a difference. Chicago on the power plays they had did not convert, but I think it possibly could have made the difference in the game if Chicago were to get more power plays, because usually once they get a lot, then they end up scoring at least 1 or 2 of them. A really close call then. Philly fired a shot which originally looked like for it to be in the net. The red light was on, the goal horn rang, but it went under review. The play kept on going, and then it went under review. It was confirmed that the puck did completely cross the line, and if the puck had been flat, it probably would not have entirely crossed, but the puck was rolling. So that ended up being a goal for Philly. They went up 2-1. So I think that Chicago really had to respond right after that. So Brent Sopel comes up, what really was John Madden who won the faceoff. He won it back, and Brent Sopel just fired a shot, and puck ends up in the back of that. And just like the Duncan Keith goal, this is why I want to see put pucks to net, just shoot, because who knows, a couple of them might get through, and that's what happened with Brent Sopel's shot. That's his first goal of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So early in the third, it looked like it was around 2.5 minutes in, Patrick Kane got a breakaway set up by, I believe it was Jonathan Toews, and he fired that home. Now, another thing I really want to point out right after this is Philly was obviously looking to respond. And Joel Quenneville, he had the Brent Sopel-Jordan Hendry pair out there. Jordan Hendry has been quite a liable defenseman all year long, and I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's been really good, but this is definitely one big mistake from he didn't get to the net quick enough, and Philly got an easy rebound right with an open net, and they were able to tie the game just 20 seconds after Patrick Kane's goal. So that really sunk the boat for Chicago. That took a lot of momentum out of them, and then after that, Philly just ended up surging right after that. The Flyers, for I think the next 10 minutes, outshot the Hawks 11-1 in that period of time. So that's definitely a big thing to point out. Philadelphia was surging even after their goal for a while. And Quenneville continued to line juggle, which I think at this point is a little I think it's past the experiment stage. I think that he has to stay with the same lines that were working. Some to point out he had Marian Hossa playing with Ben Eager on a shift. While sometimes it works, I don't think it really works in this type of game. I mean, it's good to have physicality out there with a physical team, but that wasn't the brand of hockey that Philadelphia was playing tonight. So I think that was a mistake, and that really kept Philadelphia surging. But, like I said, after Patrick Kane's goal, including the Philadelphia goal, it was all Philly. And with around 2 minutes left, Chicago had 2 really good shifts. And that sort of gave them a momentum going into overtime. And starting into overtime, Chicago did have the momentum. And Chris Versteeg, to point out, had the game on his stick with he was wide open in the slot, but he shot high, and I bet he was really frustrated there. And another close call, the puck ended up skating across the goal line. It ended up being called no goal, but just around a minute later, Philadelphia did score a goal. So that ends the game. It's 2-1 now. I expect Philadelphia to come out with the same style of gameplay. I think that now they feel that they're comfortable with this works, they're going to come out with this. But I think Chicago is going to be one to change their brand of gameplay. They're going to come up with a little more physical, but definitely a lot tighter of a game. They're going to be, I think they're going to tighten up defensively. They're going to stay with the same lines. I think Joel Quenneville is going to sort of figure out when to change his lines and when not to. And I think that's the reason of the last overtime goal. It was really a poor line change by Chicago, which led to that last goal. So I think that overall, this is a tough game for Chicago and a tough game for Philly. I expect Chicago to really make a game out of this in Game 4. Probably, I say probably, but possibly win Game 4 and then take it home for Game 5. But then again, Philadelphia, they're going to come up with a lot of firepower in Game 4. So I expect Game 4 to be a really tough, physical, near the end type of game. It's going to be a really tough back and forth game in Game 4. Excuse me. So I think that the Hawks are, whether they win Game 4 or lose Game 4, I think that when they come back home for Game 5, they're going to take it. It's going to be Hawks in 5 or Hawks in 6 for me. I'm not being biased here. That's my real opinion. I think that Philadelphia played a really good game today. They played a different style game than I expected them to. And I give Philadelphia a lot of credit for what they did. And as far as goaltending, both goalies did a really good job. Michael Leighton, he started to play like the Michael Leighton you saw against Montreal. Antoniemi played another spectacular game. I really can't blame any of the Philadelphia goals on Antoniemi. So that's it. You could tweet me and Gabby. Gabby's not here today. She's upstairs sleeping. But you could tweet me and Gabby at Hawks pre and post. Tweet us your thoughts about this game and what's your prediction for the rest of the series. So, all right, everybody.